Okay, well, I'm Jennifer Grassman. I'm with the Washington Times. I'm a recording artist, and I actually write a column called The Business of Being Diva. So I wanted to ask you guys today about your new film, You Instead, which is debuting at South by Southwest this year. It's very exciting. Now, I understand that it was shot kind of documentary, guerrilla style, over 5 days. How did that work?
4.5.
4.5, yeah.
We had 3 weeks to kind of prep the film and to rehearse the scenes and to work on the music. And myself and Natalia both had to create 2 different bands to be in the film.
Imaginary bands, yeah.
And then we went up to the Tea in the Park Music Festival, which is this massive festival about an hour outside Glasgow in Scotland, and we shot the whole film there in the main arena with 85,000 people walking around. So it was a new experience.
Yeah. And the thing is, when we rehearsed it, you know, you could only rehearse it really so far because actually a lot of the scenes would need people, and it's kind of you need to wait till you get there. So you could rehearse to a point, but then it was like I was pretty nervous about going there. On the day we got there, I was like, is this going to be even possible? Like how? Do you know what I mean? Like how are we going to do this? We're not going to sleep for a start.
Right, exactly. Well, just to introduce you, I mean, this is Natalia Tena, and you starred as Tonks in Harry Potter, and you were in Luke Treadaway, Clash of the Titans. So, I mean, this was a really dramatic. This is a very different kind of film than that short film. I mean, how was it different? Like the feel of it. I mean, was it exciting, exhilarating, exhausting? I mean, to do this.
All of those things.
Yeah.
All of what you just said.
Yeah, it was very different. I mean, we arrived at the festival and there was, you know, as opposed to having trailers to hang out in, we had 80 dome tents for the cast and crew to sleep in. And the whole process was very kind of guerrilla style and very sort of, you'd walk around for up to like 18-hour days sometimes doing shooting
stuff. Just constantly filming.
Constantly filming. And you'd be in one place to do a scene for 20 minutes, then you'd move on and walk the other side of the arena, do another scene and move on. It was very quick. It was very sort of, but I think that kind of helped to capture the sort of the feeling of being at a festival, which is all quite an anarchic,
it's kind of
full-on energy. So I think that kind of helped with that feel.
Sure. And then, the other thing I had to ask is because, of course, your characters, Adam and Isabella, they're handcuffed together.
Yep.
And the way I understand it is, I haven't had the pleasure of seeing the film yet, but I'm very excited about seeing it tomorrow night. So I am under the impression that what happened was you guys are in 2 rival bands, and you get in a fight on the festival grounds, and this kind of loony security guard comes up and handcuffs you together, basically, as kind of a sick joke. And sarcastic.
And then runs off.
Right, and runs off in a golf cart. So now I'm wondering, I mean, how much you got into the acting? Like, when the cameras weren't shooting, did you take the handcuffs off, or did you stay in character the whole time?
We kind of had to. We'd usually go to the next place, so it's like let's just go. Other times, of course, if like I don't know. One of us was rolling a cigarette, or we had to or someone had to go to the loo, or whatever. But other than that, most of the time we spent putting them on.
We had to keep them on quite a bit. We keep them on quite a bit.
To sleep, obviously.
Obviously. Of course, They were on quite a lot of the time. It was funny because after 3 weeks of rehearsals, we'd become quite adept with keeping our hands together and doing everything and picking up cups of tea and whatever.
In fact, the scene when we take it off and I run off, that was a really weird scene to do because that was towards the end.
You're separated all of a sudden. Oh my gosh. So, I mean, and obviously in the film there's a lot of difficulties you guys encounter being handcuffed together. I mean, what were some of those unexpected things, I guess, that you hadn't thought of? I mean, because you don't think about what it's like to be I mean, it's an awkward situation.
Well, there's a scene in the film where I have to go on. It's only a few hours after the start of the film where we get handcuffed together. Natalia's band has to go on and do a gig, and so as Adam, I'm there and I'm handcuffed, and Natalia's there playing the keyboard. So I have to sit on the stage with her, which is Adam finds deeply distressing being on stage with her band, and ends up kind of finding out that he can put a little riff of Tainted Love over the top of one of her songs, and mashes up this kind of one of her songs into Tainted Love and mixed with her song, which kind of is a sort of middle point of the film where they realise that there's this kind of musical connection, or even though she hates it to begin with when I'm starting to do bow, bow, down, 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 then it kind of it sort of sparks off something between them, I think, and it's at that point where Adam, with the offer of a key that has been found for handcuffs, declines it and says, and sort of feels that he'd like to kind of spend a few more hours with this girl. And it's at that point where you sort of realise, okay, there's something going on here.
Well, and that leads perfectly into my next question, which is, I mean, you've got this really outlandish, unusual story about two rock stars getting handcuffed together. But really, the underlying story is basically two very unlikely people who are enemies start out with a lot of animosity, and then as they get to know each other, they get put into awkward situations. They fall in love, which is the surprising, it's the wonderful twist in the film. And it reminded me, and I don't know if this is accurate or not, of Shakespeare's Much Ado About Nothing, with the characters of Benedict and Beatrice. Because they start out just clashing.
Always fight, bickering. And
I mean, how did you guys figure out your chemistry?
I think it is, as you say, it's a kind of classic tale of two people who meet and have this animosity, and then over the course of the time, you've seen it in 39 Steps, and it's not a brand new story in that regard. It's kind of where it's set and how it's gone about, which I think is different and is original.
And the connection through music, right? Rather than also as people, but that music thing is what does it.
Yeah, definitely. It's very tangible.
I think, for my character anyway, he's the young guy dealing with the sudden onslaught of huge amounts of fame, and this veneer at least of complete arrogance and self-belief, but underneath it really sort of looking for something a bit more real and a bit more kind of genuine. And so I think that's what he sees in Natalia's character. I think he sees like a genuine love of the music and kind of joy for life, which he maybe is lacking a bit of. So I think that's what it is that sort of is like a magnet for him towards her character.
And I think my character is similar. She's got a veneer. There's a moment when she breaks down and they have a mud fight, and I think that's kind of what they both have. It's like, I'm fine. I think, I've got attitude and I know my mind. But actually, they are just two vulnerable people that have an obsession with music and that connects them.
That's wonderful. Well, and I mean, the film, like you guys were saying, there is so much unique emotional opportunities for you guys as actors. I mean, that must have been really, because for one thing, your lovers, the characters in the films, are very justifiably jealous. Their boyfriend and girlfriend are chained together now, and and then you've got the whole band rivalry going on. So this must have been a really fun film for you guys.
Oh yeah, I mean, you kind of, Natalia is in a band. I play music and write stuff as well, and I mean, I think for both of us, being able to be in a film which sort of uses that aspect of ourselves as well was amazing. Natalia wrote a song for your band. I wrote a song for it, and so it was amazing to kind of have the generosity of David and to sort of allow that for ourselves to be a part of it. And then the story, itself and the whole process of it was so different to other films we've both been on, where you're sort of sitting around in a trailer for a whole morning waiting for lights to be set up. There was no sitting around for the 4.5 days. So
there was no continuity most of the time.
No continuity.
No markers.
No makeup. No markers.
At all.
It was very freeing. I think. As soon as it was finished, someone was saying, "Would you do that again?" like that? And I think to begin with, I thought probably not. But then I think no, for the right thing, it was.
I want to work with him again. I want to work with him again.
Absolutely. I think it worked for the sort of the style of the film and everything. I think it was the only way we could have done it, and the festival was only on for 4 days, so we had to do it in that time. And I think it's a testament to David and the editors that they've sort of taken all of this material and formed
ordered it.
That's organized chaos.
Basically.
So did you guys do any ad-lib or anything like that? I mean, was it all written out?
Yeah. A lot of the stuff just happened. A lot of scenes actually were cut that were written, but a lot of the other stuff was cut. But because he was always there with his art following us, like you just had to be in character. Like I'm still filming. Okay.
Very good impression of David, actually. It's very good. It was. I think the script sort of was. It certainly marked out the overall arc and the journey of the story and the characters. And I think when we were there, though, David would be walking around behind us with a sort of hunter's look in his eye, and he could see a situation over there where he could say, guys, go over there, develop something. Then we would do that, and so there was lots of times in the film, which is stuff we would find on the day as we were walking from one scene to another. We'd see something kind of going on, and he'd say, like, go and do something there. So in that perspective, there was lots of improvisation and stuff as well, which was, I think after the first half an hour of filming, I think I threw my script and my call sheet away and realised that they were completely unnecessary, totally useless. So we just sort of we were lucky to be able to be shooting it pretty much linear, and so we could kind of go from one scene to the next, knowing where we'd just come from a bit.
Well, that's another interesting thing about the film is it is filmed linear. So whereas in a regular film you might do a couple of the last scenes or all the scenes in this particular set at one time, and then so it's completely feel.
So that's a gift, I think, isn't it?
So much.
You get to you've actually gone through that experience just before the one you're doing now, and so that was great.
Well, before we wrap up. For our viewers and readers, what is your band called?
My band's called Molotov Jukebox, and it's kind of gypstep, like gypsy, dubstep, Latin. I just want to make people dance and smile constantly.
And you do.
And I try to.
You do. And one last question. Obviously, the film is debuting here at South by Southwest in Austin, Texas. So when can the general public view it here in the U.S.? Do you know?
I don't know. Do you know?
This is sort of just this is the kind of U.S. North American premiere. So this is where it sort of the ball starts rolling. I suppose from here. It's pretty much been sold in all the other territories in Europe and Australia and Japan. And the UK it comes out in September. And so this is the sort of start of it. So it's exciting just to see now where it goes from here and how the reaction has been from this and see what happens.
And what's the film website? So people can find out more about it. I know it's on Facebook.
Youinstead.com.
Yeah, youinstead.com. And it's also on Facebook too. You can like it on Facebook.
You can.
So, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Natalia
Thank you
Tena
very much.
and Luke Treadaway, and this is For You Instead.